So, the Switch 2 is out, and Mario Kart World is out, and they've been out for about 2 months by the time this video gets out finally. I've been playing Mario Kart for about 1 month now, and got my hands dirty, found the good, the bad. I want to let the honeymoon period go away and see what's really good and really fun about this game. Is it good is a question I got a lot, and the answer is yes, it is good. And if that's all you care about, you can roll out right now. No problem, no foul. Another question I got that was more surprising though is it dead? Which was way more surprising. Bruh, seriously. This is way too early for that, and obviously it's Mario Kart, it's gonna be fine. Mario Kart 8 came out on the Wii U about 10 years ago, and then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out on the Switch, and they sold pretty well. They did good, they're pretty profitable for themselves, and I'm sure by the time this video comes out, Mario Kart World will have sold plenty of copies too, and it'll be well on its way to doing just as well. So if you're watching this, you either have the game already, or it's very likely at some point you will have the game. So let's talk about 10 things that I love about Mario Kart World that you may like. This is more aimed at people who don't have the game yet, but if you do have the game, swap your notes with me and see if you agree with me that these are really good new things added to the series, and if not. That said, this is 10 things I love about Mario Kart World. Let's go. Number 1, item defense. So, no matter how fast you are, at some point you're going to have to defend yourself. And with 23 other racers bringing us up to 24, you're going to be shot at by bombs, shells, bananas, fire flowers, ice flowers, hammers, and a wide variety of other things. Gone are the days of having to hold down the button to hold down bananas and shells behind you. Now if you have a defensive item, it will just float behind you on its own, and it saves your fingers all those problems. And in Knockout Tour, which we'll describe later, if you didn't have that, you would have to hold a banana behind you for upwards of 10 minutes, which would be exhausting. At times, your opponents will send you a friendly little message in the form of a blue spike shell, and in World, with the perfect dodge, you can send them a message right back.
Yes! Yes! You too!
Number 2 is that boom, boom, boom. So, when bombs, certain other kinds of explosions, including blue spike shells, hit, there are comic book words now. You can see text like boom or kaboom. It's a small cosmetic change, but it makes the explosions just a little crunchier, just a little more satisfying. It might seem small, but it's cool. Bomb-bombs are also a lot more useful, as if they're floating behind you, you can use them to hurt other people, and you'll be totally fine. It's cool. However, if you release a bomb, it is active and can hurt you though. So when you use bombs, make sure to stay a safe and proper distance from them. They're cool now. Boom. Cool. Number 3, Drive-Bys. Now, real talk, I'm not exactly sure how useful this one is going to be. For the first time in Mario Kart history, with the right stick, you can freely turn the camera. It makes for really cinematic shots if you're, for example, making a YouTube video, but how else can it be useful? Well, with most items, you can turn and you can shoot where you're looking, which means you can shoot sideways, you can shoot behind you, you can shoot at a 45-degree angle. Now, it's kind of hard to do while driving, and some people have gone as far as to mapping one of the back buttons to be accelerate so they can more easily do it, but I'm not exactly sure how useful it's going to be in a real race. If you actually actively do this in races, please let me know in the comments, because I'm not sure about this one, but it's a neat thing you can do. Number 4, Wallrunning and Skill. Now we're getting to the good stuff. Have you ever wished there was skill in Mario Kart? I mean real skill. Well, you'll be happy to know it's finally here. You can wall kick to dodge enemies, boost, and do it all in style. And you can win on your own terms with your own flavor. Be careful though, because wall kicks won't always work, can't be done willy-nilly. Time trial monsters are going to love reversing time and going back and forth, looking for the ideal routes to do courses as quickly as they can. Aerial tricks give great momentum and air control, especially left and right tricks. letting you do things that were quite impossible in the past. And thanks to a recent update, this effect is even greater, so you can see crazy tricks online. It's all good stuff. Do you remember skill in Mario Kart 64? You would see a blatant hole in the wall, use a mushroom at an appropriate time, and you went through a shortcut. Yay, shortcut! In Mario Kart 8, once you cross certain blue lines, you would go into anti-grav mode, transforming your car into essentially a bumper car. Any other vehicles you bump into or obstacles would give you a little boost and put you in a little trick state. The items were super duper powerful in Mario Kart 8, so other than drifting really well and luck, you didn't really have your destiny in your hands. You could use boost to get shortcuts and cut corners, of course, but that's not new to Mario Kart at all.
Oh yeah, pretty good.
Let's look at a rough example. So we have the Sunday stage that they added in the later DLC in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The entire stage is in the anti-grav state. So you're like bumper cars. You bump into fences, other drivers, and you bump off of everything, which makes the stage pretty much meaningless, especially if you're a heavyweight and depend on bumping other cars out of your way. The stage is aesthetically appealing, but looks a little bit simple, especially because it came from the mobile game. But let's look at it over in the Mario Kart World version. The Mario Kart World version of this track is very different. One, you're not a bumper car. You can wall kick, jump, and you have a lot more agency about where you want to go and what you want to do. They've added lots of little areas for you to wall kick, and especially here at this last little corner, if there's a shell coming from your back, there's a cool way to dodge it. It's a trick that looks absolutely sexy, is stylish, and gives you a massive boost to boot. It's fantastic, and it's just a taste of what is to come. Next up is rail grinding. Just like with drifting, you get mini turbo boost on rails, and on straightaways you can jump over and over to get those boosts. Combining that speed with a few well-placed wall kicks lets you take some interesting routes through stages, which you're very much going to have to explore on your own. Grinding rails has been in other games and other racing games before, but it is new to Mario Kart, and the way they do it is pretty cool, letting you express yourself in ways never before seen before. And you can make yourself incredibly evasive, hard to follow, hard to chase, and more importantly, harder to hit with items. It's really cool and a great addition for the franchise. You don't need walls to wall kick. If you see a pole, tree, lamppost, cow, or a wide variety of other things you'll have to experiment with, you can wall kick to do some impossible shortcuts. It's also important to remember that all mechanics follow the same mini turbo fire rules. You go from a blue flame to an orange flame, and finally to a rainbow flame, which gives you your strongest boost. This is important while drifting, while on walls, and on rails. It's good stuff. It's also important during a charge jump. A charge jump is what happens if you go in a straight line and you hold the drift button. It slows you down a bit, but it lets you enter a trick jump from anywhere you want. Follows the same fire rules though. You can trick left, you can trick forward, you can trick back, and you can trick right. It's super useful. You can also wall kick off of half pipes, which is good for a nice little boost and a cool dodge. It's good stuff. Now let's put all this together. This is Cheap Falls. Statically is basically a whole track based on a Zen Guard, which is very beautiful. Let's use all of our pre-Mario Kart World mechanics, which would be just drifting and driving well. So if we go down here and we drive well, all we really have to worry about is cornering appropriately, and when we get to the water, not letting the water drift us too far left or right. Staying in the middle, doing whatever little jumps we can. It's straightforward and it'll get the job done. You can absolutely win, but now let's use some new mechanics to make this a whole lot better. Let's do this again, but with some new moves. All right. So this first part is pretty much the same. We drift up here, but as we approach the bridge, there are numerous rails to our left and right side. We'll hit this left rail here with a nice little trick there off of the jump and start grinding. Then we'll jump off carefully, lining up with this rock, which is actually a ramp. There's a lot of ramps hidden in levels like this. We can wall run here, then the wall's gonna end, so we're gonna have to trick again. And whenever you see a curved wall, that's a dead giveaway of an alternate route. And we wall kick over here in this water, use a boost out of the water, then we can do a trick off of this tree here, then use our mid-air tricks to go to the left, and we can grind this rail high above here. Careful, because if you go over here to the left, Lakitu will take you away. He's a little bit aggressive in this game, but it gives you a totally different route to stay out of the fray and do what you want. There are lots of alternate routes. Even within that shortcut, there were other shortcuts. So let's say you didn't have the speed to hit the top of that tree, which is actually very likely. If you look below it, there actually are two other routes hidden. A lot of the tracks are extremely layered, so there are a lot of possible routes to do the same thing. Whether you want to go fast, just avoid people, or just do something different every lap, you actually have those options now, and it makes the game better for it. By the way, while we're here, I do love Peach's yukata, the little mask, and this motorcycle, which looks like a goldfish in a festival. It's all very awesome. The fireflies on the yukata make it even better. Hey, remember that rock that was actually a ramp? There are a lot of hidden ramps. For example, Mr. Triceratops' face is actually a ramp. I feel bad when I do that, but it's very funny. Moving on, you see this long neck dinosaur coming up. It's actually a Flintstone style grind rail, so you can get up there in style with a little bit of boosting action. There's a curved wall here you can use for a dodge or a boost, and you can go to the right if you want some off-roading action. Actually, with that grind rail from before, you can jump to the right and get a little wall grind, so you can jump to the left and get a shortcut, complete with lots of dash pads to speed you up and keep you separated from the crowd. Let's say you didn't quite do so well though. So let's say you came up that grind rail and you didn't actually make that wall grind. It happens. And you really actually want to get up there. You can hit one of these geysers and get up there anyway. On race courses, it may seem impossible to do something, but
life finds a way.
Now, I know I said these 10 things are in no particular order, but wall grinding, wall running, wall kicks, and rails are definitely in the top 2 things, if not the best thing about Mario Kart World. They make it fun, they add a whole lot of skill expression, and they just make you more engaged mentally, which is something Mario Kart desperately needed for a very long time. There's a lot of cool shortcuts that you do not get for free, and just because you can wall run and wall kick doesn't mean you necessarily should. For example, in Wario Stadium, you can stay on these rails above the whole fray the entire time, but you don't really need to, and it might not be faster unless you boost well. The important thing is you have this thing you can do that looks cool, makes you feel cool, and can win you the race. But if you do it incorrectly, it can absolutely lose you the race. So do be careful. Even from the first course, there are some rails that are really hard to land that are pretty cool, but you don't really need it in any way to win. Mario Kart is new to skill, and I hope it continues to be a skill-based game as things move forward. Okay, stay with me, Nintendo fans. Mario Kart has had a lot of copycats and competitors over the years, and some of these are actually really good. The best of which, in my opinion, is absolutely Crash Team Racing, which was like Mario Kart, but with a lot of skill from the get-go. They have hang time boosts, which give you more boost the longer you jump or fall in the air while in a trick jump. Their drift system was vastly more complicated from the get-go, and it's really fun. If you've never tried it, honestly, sincerely, give it a shot. It's pretty cool. If playing the old PlayStation 1 version hurts your eyes, which I totally understand if you weren't there or weren't born, there is a new version, CTR Nitro Fueled, which is a little bit prettier. It's on everything except for PC. When I spoke about that drift earlier, it has a 3-tiered drift. So you drift with one button and use the other drift button to cash out 3 different drift boosts, and you fill up secret fuel tanks. This lets you move really fast, and coupled with hang time boost from jumping, you actually have a lot of fun and a lot of speed, but it's very skill based and you're always thinking about it the entire race. You save up fuel reserves and you actually can keep that high speed going up and up and up the entire race if you're really good and know what you're doing. Crash might seem like a joke, but CTR Nitro Fueled actually sold 10 million copies, so that's nothing to scoff at. All shortcuts in CTR require you to be moving at a pretty decent clip, or it's not even worth trying it, which means you need to drift well, boost well, keep your reserves up, and always be looking for that cool little shortcut to save that much more time. It's pretty cool. And also when it comes to track design, it was pretty superior there too, as the tracks didn't seem like magical racetracks. They seemed like actual Crash worlds, but just we're driving in them now. And its track design is absolutely godlike. In a kart racer, your track should emphasize your mechanics, and CTR was the S tier class when it came to that. This track in particular helps you get to a state that only the pros really could get to. Blue Fire Boost is when you get your reserves maxed out and you're moving at top speed. I've been told by people who are actually good at the game that if flames aren't shooting out of the back of your car at any moment, you're playing the game wrong. And it's true, as people are able to stay in that state for the whole entire race many, many times over. Also, the tracks require you to make a lot of split-second decisions, so even if you're in first place, you're having to work your hardest to stay in number 1. Now, I don't know what's happening this year, but it seems like all the Mario Kart copycats are coming out of the woodworks. Sonic is, of course, getting a new racing game as well, and while the new game has a pretty sorry soundtrack, sorry Sonic fans come at me, some of those games are pretty good, so we'll see how it is gameplay-wise. Crossing my fingers for you, Sonic, good luck. Another guy who was sort of a joke to the kart racer franchise getting a new series too, as Garfield Kart of all guys is coming back with a new racing game, and it looks like this time they're actually trying to make it like a serious racing game. I have no idea how that one will play, but like, they're going for it, and that's something. Go Garfield, people like cats, so why not? Let's be real though, Mario Kart is $80 and the Switch could be upwards of $500 and more depending on where you live. So it's good to have so many different kart racers at different price points on different systems to give people options. If you're over on the PC, there's a really cheap option, the Karters 2 Turbocharged, which is really, really fun. It's of course copying CTR, which is a copycat of the copycat, but it's pretty good. It has come out pretty recently, and they have a health system, so instead of getting shot and spinning out, you have to be shot quite a few times to spin out. Also doing the triple boost from CTR pretty blatantly, their take on that is you can build a fuel reserve to get your top speed to go endlessly higher. It's honestly pretty fun and kind of hard in a good way. The only thing I don't like is the characters, other than the main character who's basically Girl Crash. If only there was something that could be done about those characters. Ugh. Huh, what's this? We got mods in game. What's mods? Let's check that out. Oh no. Oh no! Well, we're playing PC games. Have fun with that. Number 5. The open world. World is in Mario Kart World's title, so obviously that is important to them. They wanted to make a seamless world where all the tracks from Mario Kart can go from one into another. Did they succeed, or did they fail miserably? That answer is actually very complicated, and it's really gonna have to depend on you and what you want from an open world. If we look at Mario Kart 8, we had a lot of nonsensical good tracks, Tracks where we were shrunken down and in a child's room playing with toys. A lot of toys when you really think about it. There was a track where you were shrunken down in a bathroom and a toilet. There was a track where you were in a giant world desert made out of cheese. And this level either smelled wonderful or it smelled like foot. I'm going to choose the former. It also had really good music, so I let it pass. And I never really thought about all these worlds being together on one cohesive planet, but now we are. If you were a kid who played Mario 64 and you went to Royal Raceway, real quick, by the way, you know when you press the L button you could turn the music on and off in Mario Kart 64? I don't know why, but whatever, it's a thing you can do. Anyway, in Royal Raceway, they had the whole castle, at least the outside of it, from Mario 64, which is a nice little cool homage. You can't really do anything there, but it's cool that it's here. Tried to make it feel like one place. My sister and I would play here and make up lots of games, and it was really fun. If you're that kind of person, then we got a game for you, and it's called Mario Kart World. Okay, let's talk pros and cons. We're gonna try and be positive and see this from both sides. First thing, with a simple press of the button, you can go from the title screen right to the open world. That's pretty cool. The character on the title screen will be the last character you were, wearing what they were wearing in the car they were last time. So if you want to continue doing something, that's pretty nice. And it's nice to just jump into things. The open world is very relaxing. There are a lot of weird cars and things to jump off. It's easy to find something to fly. And this is primarily how you're going to want to collect coins and get lots of new costumes. We'll get to that in a moment. I like to play Mario Kart to relax. I literally used to do time trials just to chill out. So for me, this is actually pretty nice. Going over and grabbing some fast food at the local McDonald's, or Yoshi's in this case, gives you food, and different food from around the world will give you costumes. Or it will do nothing because the characters have very different numbers of costumes and not even the same costumes. So for example, if Mario and Luigi both have 8 costumes, they won't have the same 8 costumes. It's actually kind of annoying. But the cool thing is you can actually see how the worlds seamlessly merge into one another. It's kind of blatant in some places, but for the most part, I think it works. As you go up the mountain, you start to see more snow and you run into some of the cooler tracks. As you go up the snowy mountains, you start to see intense ice and you see some of those tracks. You'll also see a bunch of other Mario Kart racers around doing their own thing. You can follow them. I'm not entirely sure if they'll lead you to anything or do anything, but it kind of represents if you're playing online with your friends and they're going around. Which is important because this is the new lobby. Gone is sitting and waiting for your friends in space. Now you can drive around the world as you wait for the next race. Another thing you can do, but only when you're on your own, are hitting P-switches. And they give you a wide variety of challenges ranging from easy to mind-numbingly difficult around the world. It can be collect blue coins, do a pseudo race around a loop that is its own racetrack. It can be doing cool tricks, wall running, or even driving other vehicles, which we'll get to later. If you fail, it's no big deal. With a simple click of the stick, you can retry. It'll take you back to the P-switch, and you can drive away, or you can hit it again. You'll notice the camera goes away as it loads up special assets for the particular challenge. That's cool, but it also means that it is a single player only event. If you're playing multiplayer in any way, the P-switches disappear, which make the open world even more useless. If you do get the P-switch challenge though, you get a sticker, which to some people doesn't really matter, but I think the real reward was the knowledge you gained along the way, as the P-switches serve as sort of a tutorial of sorts. You can see your P-switches, question panels, and peach coins in the bottom left of the world map. You can go around and click on any character and become that character. You can also see how many costumes that character has unlocked, and you'll start to see the disparity immediately. Even the battle courses are in the world. You can find all the places, and it's cool, and how you can use the right stick to look around. You can actually take in the smell of sweet roses and look around and take it in. You can actually see a lot of tracks. You can see a train going around, and you can follow that train, by the way, and it'll take you to places all over the world, and you can see a lot of nice little sights. There are a lot of nice little hidden things in the world, I will say. They don't really do anything or give you quests. It's more like just an experience, to the point that I don't really want to spoil them. For one example, you can find a UFO doing something strange with cows. I'll give you that hint. You can go find it on your own. It's just kind of a neat thing. It's not super important, but it's there. It's also interesting to see how you get from one track to another with cannons, and how you get to one track in particular is my favorite, and I really like that, and that'll be for a little later. But while you're in the open world without anything to hold you back, you can practice grinding. You can go around to the tracks and collect stickers, and you can just kind of have a good time. They really want you to use that game chat feature, so I guess they intend you to drive around while talking to your buddies. If you're by yourself, you can listen to a little podcast, which is totally fine, is what I do a lot of times. You can turn time backwards because it's a single player mode, which is great, especially when you drive past something like a question block or a peach coin if you want. You can also stick the stickers onto your cart to show them to other people. One of the most useful things I think you can do is if you go to a track that you have trouble with, the P-switches there may actually help you. That wall running trick you see me done earlier is actually, there's a P-switch here that teaches you how to do that. So if you're having trouble and you're looking for a shortcut, there's probably a P-switch that will at least show you some basic shortcut or something you didn't know about the track, making it pretty dang useful when you think about it. You can also find Nabbit hidden around stealing things all over the place. You can chase him down. I don't really like Nabbit, so chasing him down with my car is actually cathartic for me, and I enjoy this. This is not something you really have to do, but if you follow him, he actually will show you kind of shortcuts, or at least places and things you can grind on that you might not have realized in the past. When you catch him, you get surprise, surprise, the same thing you get every time you get a sticker. It's a Nabbit sticker, and for those of you who want to collect everything, it's another thing to do. But once again, you don't have to do it. There's also lots of coins everywhere, and you need coins to unlock cars, so that's a great way to do it. And because every game has to have it, there's also a photo mode. They showed it off a lot during the trailers, but it's something that you can do by yourself or in multiplayer, which is nice to make little wallpapers for your computer or for your car. It has all the basic PNGs, all the basic filters you can imagine, and it's cute. I don't really think photo mode is that special anymore since it's pretty much in everything, but there's some people who really just gotta take those selfies. And you can do it now. Look at Boo. Boo's cute. Be cute, Boo. Awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the open world. You have 3 different types of collectibles. If you want to unlock mirror mode, there's a lot of people confused about that. All you need are 10 P switches, 10 question panels, and 10 peach coins. Then you just have to beat 150cc on all Grand Prix and all knockout tours, and then go and beat the final special cup, and you will unlock mirror mode. That's absolutely how you do it. There's some confusion about it, which makes me think there might be more than one way to actually unlock it, but that's how I unlocked it. I confirmed it for sure. Not that anyone actually plays mirror mode, so I don't know why everyone cares that much, but I guess we're in the era where we just want to unlock everything because it's there. One final thing I do want to show about the open world mode are, I said there were other vehicles, and there's one right now. That is the semi-truck they showed from the trailers. There are other vehicles, I won't show them, but they are around, and they're pretty neat. I hope they make a mode with them later because this seems rife for updates for later. But when you get in these other vehicles, you can have some vehicular mayhem. I really like driving this semi like a crazy person. And I did try and drive it off the bridge into the water, but it doesn't let you. It's just kind of fun and stupid. Mario Kart 8 got numerous updates over the course of 10 years. I hope there are lots of updates because I would like to race semis if they're willing to do that in the future. The last thing you can do is look for secrets that don't really have any other meaning other than you can get a whole bunch of coins. And they're just little interesting things like looking at different ways tracks are connected, like this tunnel down here, which take you down to Dandelion Depths, another track. And I came in here and I said, neat, because it is. Number 6, costumes. So the character select screen's a little strange this time. It's in this weird page format, but it looks cool. You can press a button to switch over to a mode where all of a character's costumes will be right next to each other, and then it kind of Tetris blocks them together. It's kind of weird, but it kind of works. I guess they really wanted these nice, big, colorful profile shots, but it kind of emphasizes a problem. All the costumes are great, no complaints, but they're not equal. Even characters with the same number of costumes don't have the same styles of costumes, and characters have really, really different numbers of costumes. Look at Donkey Kong. He has his normal outfit, and then he has one costume. He has to kind of stick him here between the gap here between Yoshi and Bowser. He just had a great game and all these forms, and you could have made a costume based on that, or put DK in a suit. You could have thought of something. It's weird. I hope this is remedied in an update later, but it really might not be. It's weird though. But it's hard to hate the costumes that are actually here though. They gave the different Yoshi colors different colored costumes, which is kind of cool, and though I like to see black and white Yoshi, Biker Yoshi is pretty cool. It's clearly inspired by Boshi with the color and everything from Super Mario RPG. He doesn't quite have the gloves or the spikes, but that is Boshi. Tell me that's not Boshi right there. And if I have to be Yoshi, definitely going with Biker Yoshi. Love those shades. Bowser has some great ones with his biker outfit with a few rips. He has some interesting ones for off-roading, but a clear winner for Bowser is this crazy caffeinated, high-powered Bowser with exhaust pipes. He looks like a fire Blastoise for some reason, and it makes me laugh every time I wonder what's coming out of those pipes. Anyway, moving on. He has his biker outfit, and Bowser Jr. has a lot of similar ones. He has his own little version of a biker outfit. It says Biker Jr., by the way, which is cute. And he has a Boy Scout outfit, which means Bowser puts his son in Boy Scouts to make him well-rounded. Best single father in Nintendo history, double super confirmed. Koopa Troopa has a lot of cool costumes too. I mean, I guess you get a lot of love since you were in Mario Kart since the first one, but what about Donkey Kong? Anyway. Koopa Troopa's ones are pretty fine. Toad has a bunch of nice ones. I like everyone who works in the food service industry. You have to have the Captain Toad and Captain Toadette, of course. But Burger Hat Toad, come on! Burger Hat, that's cool! Toadette doesn't have a burger hat, but she also works in maybe a different department because she has a soft serve hat. She serves ice cream, and she looks like ice cream itself, which is cool. So I like that everyone is a little bit blue collar in this. Takes us back to like the plumbing roots and stuff. Though we do have a few aristocrat outfits, which are kind of hilarious. Wario gets some great outfits. Wario and Waluigi don't get a lot of love, so it's nice when they do. He has a cool Sultan outfit, some outfits that homage to like some superhero outfits. His MAGA hat outfit is pretty good. He has his, like, I think this is for Wrecking Crew, maybe? The pirate hat is wonderful. I think that's like maybe the Mario Party reference. Tell me that's not a Simpsons reference, but it just seems that way to me. There's their Mad Max post-apocalyptic outfits, and both of them have it. The cousins, what are they? Are they cousins or whatever? Waluigi has some great ones that work well with his lanky body. And, you know, all the princesses have theirs, except for Pauline, who only gets one costume like Donkey Kong. It's a nice costume, but what the hell? DK Bonanza is super fun, we'll get to that later, but these two really deserve more costumes. I hope they add more costumes. Some people are saying they want to see other versions of Pauline in the game. Maybe they'll add it later. Maybe they didn't know Bonanza would do super well, but it's not fair that like the babies get more costumes than them. It's weird. Lastly, there's Nabbit, who I hate, and he's relegated here to the end with all the baddies. Spike, I like you because you were in Mario Party and you were fun. But you get all these forms. Some of them you start off with. Some of these you have to unlock by being transformed into them by Kamek. Kamek is an item. He comes out. He's extremely rare. If you're not lucky like me, this will take you a long time. Some people got them in 3 days. It took me almost a whole week to unlock all these guys, but I have them all now, finally. The cow you get from the beginning because they know cow is the goat, ironically, and is awesome. Yeah, that's enough of that. But some of these are great. You get to see Mario's feet and hands, which I'm sure some of you really want to see. But it's weird that, like, there's Farmer Luigi and Farmer Peach, and they're the only two characters to get farmer outfits and no one else in the whole game, which makes me really wonder what's going on at the farm, quite frankly. But you can put a farmer on a tractor, and that's cool. Neat. Number 7, Knockout Tour. It's time. Finally, there's an elimination race mode in Mario Kart. It's been a long time coming, but Knockout Tour is a transcontinental race that will take you across the whole continent, a whole bunch of racetracks, and a whole bunch of different terrains. It actually keeps things really fresh, and you can do things at up to 150 cc's or mirror mode when you unlock it. If you wanted to see their thesis statement about one seamless open world come to fruition, nothing does that better than Knockout Tour, because you won't be going through racetracks like you would normally. Knockout Tour may take you through part of a racetrack, it may take you through a racetrack backwards, it may take you to a road that is adjacent to a racetrack that has nothing to do with it. It actually really is like its own thing. To separate itself even more, you start off with a rolling start, which is another cool thing you can do. This is like if you took a Grand Prix and took all 3 laps from all 3 races, separated them, and tied them together in one long string and made it a race. Knockout Tour can be up to 10 minutes or more. There are numerous checkpoints along the way, and if you don't keep up, you get knocked out. Because you have to physically go from one location to another, this requires there to be far more straightaways than there are on a normal road. And you get to test all the items, change your costumes, and do whatever. You'll see bullet bills because items in general have been so amazingly depowered in Mario Kart World, they're not much of an issue. You can take in some of the local wildlife, use all the drift boost imaginable, and you will definitely be going through all the terrains, land, air, and sea. It can be a real blast against computers and way more fun if you're fighting humans. This is one mode I definitely wish I had back in high school, because I could have gathered up 24 human friends absolutely easily. It can be a little nerve-wracking as you approach a checkpoint. There'll be fire around the screen to make the tension worse. At the top right, you'll see characters filling in, and on the gate, you will see the minimum possible place you can be in, or you get knocked out. It's pretty wild as you get whittled down to the best racers you have in your group. You'll notice a lot less items coming your way, which means you're going to have to drive continuously better and better, but it doesn't mean the item pool will go away. You get blue spike shells all the way up until the last places. Speaking of items, by the way, I haven't mentioned the golden mushroom, which you can't pump as much as you could back in the day, but it definitely feels like you get more of a boost out of it. In this game, golden mushrooms are a gift from God and are super powerful. In fact, even normal mushroom boost when used properly can change your place dramatically. Some of the more powerful items like bullet bills are super depowered, and I really, really like that. On these straightaways, you will notice some enemies that you wouldn't see in any other mode besides Knockout Tour, because Knockout Tour has its own sets. Even going just between 2 checkpoints, we've already gone through upwards of 10 different terrain types, and that is one of the most appealing things about it. And the new set pieces make it even better. For example, as you start crossing the ocean, sometimes you'll see enemies, whirlpools that aren't normally there, and there'll be these little floaty things that will help you stay out of the water if you really want to. This matters because 1, aesthetically it looks cool, but 2, some characters are actually faster in the water and some characters are faster on land. Hidden stats are back, hardcore Mario Kart people. It does matter. It's also really fun to be in a race where you're putting everything on the line for one victory. You're basically doing an entire Grand Prix in one shot, hoping you'll get first place. And if you want the gold trophy with 3 stars, it's actually quite difficult. To do that, you pretty much need to be in first throughout every checkpoint and finish in first, which sounds easy, but is actually kinda rough. They did do a patch that made the computers much stupider recently, so it's a lot more doable. But any of you who were there for day 1 and did that, I tip my hat to you, you have my props. As you approach the final 8, Knockout Tour begins for real. Every mistake you make and every choice you make starts to matter more and more. You do have to be careful because the Kidu is a little strict sometimes, and if you go what he considers out of bounds, he will grab you. Some of this is just memorization, but you really have to pay attention to the barriers on either side of the track, because that's one criticism I have for World. You would think you could go off-roading more, but Lakitu is a little strict and it's not even depending on what part of the track you want. But this is something you'll learn more as you do the Knockout Tour more than once. You'll notice that even though you are down to 8, which was old school Mario Kart max player numbers, you're still getting all the items you want. You're getting golden mushrooms, you're seeing mini mushrooms, you're seeing blue spike shells, boat boos, and all that stuff. The item pool does not dilute, even down to the last 4. I said it earlier, but I cannot emphasize that much. In the last 4, there is almost always at least 1 blue spike shell, and with 4 people, that is downright cruel. My only advice for you in Knockout Tour is go off-road, use all the shortcuts you've taken, and you never know when you get an item at the last minute which could change your fate. So never, ever give up until the last possible moment. Knockout Tour is a fantastic new mode and my favorite new addition to Mario Kart World. Now, the problem is, normal Grand Prix actually have you travel between races physically and do just 1 lap on each track. So one change I would love to see is if they added classic GPs so that we can have the 3-lap structure on all 4 races on normal Grand Prix tracks and let Knockout Tour be its own thing. They're both great in their own way. You don't need to mix it, but I get how you made this big open world. We gotta use it. Number 8. Kart Design. The Kart design in Mario Kart World is awesome. There are some returning favorites, like the Tiny Titan from Mario Kart Wii. It has smaller tires because the art design is vastly different, but if you go off-road, you get the big fat baby leg tires you had in Mario Kart Wii, so don't worry about that. Some of the characters look a little small in there, but you can be Donkey Kong and he looks just right in there. It's nice. You don't have to choose your wheels or glider anymore to worry about those stats or worry about everyone using the same card too much, because now you can just pick your cart and go, which I think is a good change. I do like this little rally car because it has a big block motor sticking out the hood, and in real life big block motors are to make cars go fast like race cars, but this big block motor is smaller than Yoshi's head. It's a tiny cartoon version, which is hilarious. But some of these carts are really good, both stat-wise and visually. And the motorcycles are just as great. We look at this motorcycle here based on Mario Bros. Arcade. It has the pipe design, it has the colors, and a POW block for its engine. It's actually pretty cool. I do need to address Daisy in her swimsuit because God knows the internet keeps doing it. It is nice. We do like it, but calm down, internet. They show Daisy a lot in the artwork on this jet ski, which is naturally blue, showing that the carts actually change color. Some carts change color based on who's on there. There are 2 different motorcycles paying homage to the dolphin and the dolphins in this game, which makes me think somebody really loved the dolphin for Super Mario World, but that's fine because dolphins are cute. This isn't particularly good, but it looks really good when she's in jet ski mode, how they stand up. We're not getting a new Wave Race 64 or Wave Race Blue Storm, so this is the closest we're getting. Number 9, that music, baby. The music in Mario Kart World is fantastic. There are upwards of 200 tracks, and we have Atsuko Asahi to blame. She is the new music director at Nintendo. She loves bluegrass and jazz, which I'm sure endears her with some of her bosses. And she loves the harmonica, and I love the harmonica. She brought the jazz fusion to Mario Kart 8. She's done Animal Crossing, she's done Pikmin, and she believes in using real-world instruments to power up the music in Mario games and Nintendo games in general, which is wonderful. There's music from the Game Boy games, some of which I really love and never thought would get a rearrangement ever, which brings me to one point. Some of these songs have had lots of fan rearrangements before, but they've never had an official Nintendo rearrangement, so getting to hear some of these is great. So you're getting a wonderful mix of Mario music from the past 30 years with real-world instruments heard in ways you've never heard it before, and there's like 200 tracks, and it's all wonderful. I did not mention this in the open world section because frankly that was a little bit long in the tooth, but the music will actually change based on the time of day, where you are, and certain other factors. So that's another thing you can just do as you're cruising around and just enjoying yourself. There are so many good songs that we could sit here for literally several hours listening to them, but I'm just gonna leave you here with some of my personal favorites before we move on to the end. Also, for some reason Nintendo refuses to do it, so I'm gonna do it. I'll be giving DK and Pauline a lot of love in this part because I truly love these characters, along with some of my other favorite characters. Enjoy. Number 10. Rainbow Road is special. Nintendo felt that Rainbow Road was so special that after decades of not having a Mario movie, the first one they get to do, they featured Rainbow Road prominently in the marketing. It was its own character, with them in carts and even a blue spike shell in the background. Personally for me, my first Rainbow Road was in Mario Kart 64. This was somewhat of an emotional track for me because the music is kind of somber. There's sort of these cool neon light images of all the characters. It must have been something with childhood ending for me, but coupled with all that and this track being extremely long, it sticks in my mind and is sort of magical and special in its own right. Now, this Rainbow Road is a little rough by today's standards, especially if you weren't there for it, and you see how the N64 is working its hardest to try and render the whole dang thing. But the biggest thing that sticks out about it are the chain chomps going through it, eating everything, the cool artwork I mentioned earlier, and how finishing one lap feels like an entire 3-lap race in its own right. It's a really strange track and stuck out definitely from all the other tracks in 64. I drove pretty decently well, and it took me almost 2 minutes to complete one lap. Can we get the shortcut? Nah, let the shortcut go. In Mario Kart 8, hashtag best title screen ever, there were several Rainbow Roads. The default Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 8 is kind of sad and sorry, honestly, and I forget that it's the original Rainbow Road all the time. They went with this sort of man-made design. Mario Kart TV was the big thing in Mario Kart 8, like the whole thing was a big production characters watch on TV, so it's in this big satellite. The colors are somewhat muted. I've come around on this track over the years, but I gave it a really hard time because it didn't really feel special to me. It's a cool track and you can drift around, and it's definitely shorter than the 64 one, but it just isn't magical, and Rainbow Road needs to be magical now. One quick cool thing, I give Mario Kart 8 Deluxe a lot of hell, but on the highlight reels, you can turn off all the sound effects, make it only music, make it only sound effects, and put your own tracks on, and you had a lot of granular control. I don't know why they did that. It seems to be a mode that's just for content creation, though it was at a time when you could upload videos directly to YouTube from Mario Kart and the Wii U, so maybe that had something to do with it. That was a really weird thing, and I don't really know what the purpose was, but it was a cool thing you could do. My point is, while this Rainbow Road is kind of sorry, it's not the only Rainbow Road they had. When they got to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they actually brought back the 64 track, and they made it absolutely beautiful. The colors are vibrant, you can see the world beneath, you can fly a little bit. The neon light art is represented by these wonderful firework explosions. There is a magical train driving around, throwing money to the people. The music is great, the track moves and undulates like it's a big ribbon floating in the sky, and the music is fantastic. But there was one thing to mess it up. You'll notice that Makitu came down to show us we're on the second quote-unquote lap. This track is way too short. If it was a 3-lap track, it would be just right, but because this is just one A to B course going around doing a single lap, it's way too short. You can finish this entire new Rainbow Road in the time it takes to do one lap on the 64 version, because even in this form, it is much shorter in general. I do generally love this track, but that always stuck with me that there was never a lap toggle to change it and make it 3 laps, which would have made it pretty much perfect, and it would have been my favorite. I also like how the chain chomps are just kind of bouncing around as ball obstacles on the course. They don't really know what they're doing there, but it is funny. This track is so important, it appeared even in the marketing for the game we will get to later. But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is not done with Rainbow Road just yet. Wait, there is indeed more. Because they had one more Rainbow Road. They actually have Rainbow Road from the Super Nintendo, and it's awesome. Of note, before we miss it, in the background you have those old Super Nintendo style hills with the eyes on them, and they have the cool rave lights on them. It feels like if you jump off of this, you'll get into some crazy 3D remake of Super Mario World, and that thought is absolutely wonderful. The cool thing about this track is they kept it angular like it was in the Super Nintendo, but the colors just pop and stick out. I have a really nice TV, so this stage looks really cool, and I love how it's one of the more skill-based tracks in Mario Kart 8. You have to corner really well, and they give you little ramps and bumps so that if you're moving at enough speed, you can make cool jumps. It's a pretty solid Rainbow Road, and it's cool that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe you can have a Rainbow Road Grand Prix pretty much. If you pay attention, you can see that they have the Rainbow Road colors in the Deluxe for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it was in all the marketing material. Just a celebration of Rainbow Road. They love it, and you can really tell. So, how do you follow all that up to make a new Rainbow Road that will be something truly special for a game about going all over the world? I'm not going to show you all of Rainbow Road for Mario Kart World, because I think that experience is personal, and in fact, getting to this stage was so wonderful. I actually did get a little emotional. It was a great way to cap off a great adventure. Plus, there's been a lot going on in my life lately, and this was the perfect way to cap it off. To say this Rainbow Road is different is a bit of an understatement. It has segments, and it's really cool, and I hope you have a really good time if you don't know what it looks like yet. If there's one thing I would tell you not to spoil for yourself, if possible, if you haven't done so already, it would be this one track. It's really cool. I think it's wonderful. It's a great place to have 24 friends, go around, have a few laughs. It has a little bit of multiple rainbow roads in the past. I think the colors are just right, and it is by far the most magical rainbow road I have ever seen in my life. Plus, it's not too long like the 64 one, not too short like the Switch one. It's just right. And it makes it perfect. It's my favorite. And I look forward to racing it for the next 10 years of Mario Kart. Good stuff. Well, that's it. All 10. If you made it this far, pat yourself on the back, and thank you so much for watching. It's been a blast thinking about why I love this game so much. If you already have this game, I hope this gave you a new appreciation for things as we go through the next decade of Mario Kart. If you liked the video, please do, and let me know any feedback, things I got wrong, and things you want to see in the future. And if you're new to this game, I have one thing to say to you. Welcome to Mario Kart.